Network Entertainment.
Who's ready for story time?
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
Let me talk to you.
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I have to finish the story.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Run!
Bang! The sniper is shooting you down. This is TMDK's Robbie Eagles.
Hey, this is the Cosmic Cactus, Paul London.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov, the Czar, the NXT champion, and you're listening to...
And you're listening to...
And you're listening...
And you are listening...
And you're listening
to the Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
To the Wrestling Podcast. Yeah.
You're listening to the longest-running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Stan C, Romoran, and Emil Nate checking in for our audio-only episode. So you got our picks of the week and some thoughts on some stuff in wrestling that happened over the weekend. We also just announced na magbabalik ang Royal Rumble viewing parties. I think this is the first time in 4 years since the day that Kobe Bryant died. And we are holding a live viewing party of the Royal Rumble, and we're bringing it back to Skinny Mike's, back where it all begins again for 2024. So if you want to get your tickets, you can get them as early as now at the early bird rate of 350 pesos. Just go on over to tinyurl.com/rumble2024. Again, that is tinyurl.com/rumble2024 to get your early bird tickets for the Royal Rumble viewing party.
Yeah. We're going to have fun there. Syempre, it's going to be on January 28th. It's a Sunday morning, the first PLE event of the year, 9 a.m. So please be there before 9 a.m. We're going to have fun because it is a return to Skinny Mike's after we hadn't had an event there since SummerSlam. So, alam ko, maraming nag-aabang ng Royal Rumble. We got inquiries, we got questions about whether we're going to do it or not. And this is the answer. Hope to see you all there. We'll all have fun and, enjoy counting down the entrance of both Royal Rumbles.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention this, but we do have prizes to give away.
Our
friends. Everybody's Toys and Collectibles. So they've been a very generous sponsor of the pod for the past year, and magtutuloy ang partnership natin heading into 2024, starting with the Royal Rumble viewing party. And a lot of people have also been asking kung pwede bang magdala ng props sa mga belts. Don't worry, we got you covered. We've got house rules. Spoiler alert. Bawal. Okay? Bawal magdala ng props.
Yeah.
Pwede mag-cosplay, pero bawal mag-props, bawal mag-promo, bawal mag-kunwari na wrestler ka, bawal manggulo. Because we're there to watch the Royal Rumble, not you, right? You're paying for a ticket. So, enjoy it like everyone else. All of the house rules are there on tinyurl.com/rumble2024. Early bird tickets at 350, walk-in tickets at 450 pesos. Either way, meron kang free iced tea. That's part of the deal from our friends over at Skinny Mike's BGC.
That's right.
All right. One more thing that we have to get to. Syempre, we have to say thanks to our patrons who've continuously supported us. So all of the fun stuff that we get to do with our patrons, you can find it on patreon.com/wrestling podcast, from reviews to yung mga watch parties to just us casually shooting the breeze about all sorts of topics. You can support the pod as well through Patreon for as low as $5 or about 250, 260 pesos a month. So again, head on over to patreon.com/wrestling podcast. It doesn't matter if you're only there to support for a month or for half a year or for a full year. Either way, we really appreciate all of the ways that you guys support the pod and show up for us whenever we have any gimmicks or any hanash that we want to do for you guys. So it really means a lot to us.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Let's get to some weekend reactions. A lot of it from SmackDown, starting with Nick Aldis continuing to not take the Bloodlines ish. Like he really just wants to be the executive that stands up to them, and I'm all for it. I love how Nick Aldis didn't even need to grab the mic and announce it to the world. So as SmackDown went off the air, parang gago si Roman, feeling himself as he laid the SmackDown on AJ Styles and LA Knight and Randy Orton. And Nick Aldis tells Paul Heyman, you can congratulate Roman because he just booked himself in a fatal 4-way at the Royal Rumble. So like the rest of the world knew. Pero si Roman Reigns, wala pa siyang kamuwang-muwang. And that was
Pati yung
funny scene.
Pati yung audience sa arena that night.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point.
Couldn't hear. No, kasi if you would watch that segment back, the crowd was super bad. They've been quiet, relatively quiet all night. Tapos, you were supposed to end it on a big note, right? The big announcement is that may fatal 4-way featuring all the guys that everyone wanted in the title match, but the crowd didn't get to hear it, so they didn't get that big pop moment na inaasahan nila for when all this made that announcement. So on TV, yes, it makes sense, but on the live event, it's kind of a big audio technical problem there.
Ako naman, I had no problems with it being done the way it was.
Yeah, but you weren't in the crowd.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I get it. I get it. That's a fair point. Like I told you earlier. Pero,
kasi, sorry, Emil. These are details kasi that you do have to think about because you're working for two different audiences, diba? It's already a problem that the live audience doesn't have commentary in their ear, as you would know from attending a live event, diba? But the fact that they couldn't hear the major storyline development, that's also a bad thing. Kasi they're part of your crowd and they're here to give you the atmosphere. Kaya again, when you watch that back, everything fell flat because they thought na yung ending ng show was the big Roman Reigns bloodline beatdown, in which the bad guys won. Pero hindi naman pala when you watch it back on TV. So it's one of those details that you do have to consider because it's part of the plan, and one part of the plan did not go as expected. Even though, syempre, you don't think about it because you watch it on TV and everything came across on TV.
Yeah, but like I'm gonna speak from a perspective of someone who watched it through the TV. So I love everything about this this segment. Like yes, you could get the normal, like the GM's gonna come out, he's gonna announce it to everyone. Royal Rumble is gonna be a fatal 4-way, but he did it in a way that was so smooth. He just he like the Bloodline thought that they outsmarted Nick Aldis, but na-reverse na siya. Kung sa uno, yung na-reverse card siya, di ba? Like Nick Aldis had something in the back of his pocket once the Bloodline messes with the match. So he went up to Heyman. He didn't even went up to Roman. He went up to Heyman and told him while Roman was celebrating in the back na parang gago, and told him about the Fatal 4-Way. And the show ended with that image of Roman in the Bloodline celebrating and Heyman with this look on his face. And again, I love everything about that segment. And Nick Aldis continues to be, he's already shooting up my rankings as probably my favorite main roster authority figure ever, because everything that he does, he makes it so cool. And again, he makes Adam Pearce look really, really bad each and every week.
Okay, I hate to burst people's bubbles here. Like it's also unfair to Adam Pearce because he had to deal with the terrible writing of Vince McMahon when it comes to authority figures. So we all know that Vince kind of rolled over to the Bloodline a lot of times. So yung proxy ni Vince there is Adam Pearce as the on-screen authority figure. So if you're going to give your props to Nick Aldis for being an effective general manager in the story, you kind of have to give the props to whoever is running his creative. Because yes, he plays the part well as an actor, pero he's also supported by the solid writing behind him. Parang it's not entirely fair to just pin it all on Nick Aldis and then demonize Adam Pearce for the stuff that he was told to do in the segment. So naman, I'm very technical about this because you do have to give everyone their flowers, because it's not just him doing a thing. It's not like he goes out there and suddenly decides that ito yung gagawin ko. Ganito ako magiging general manager, diba? So, madaya lang kasi it's unfair to Adam Pearce. Everyone is talking shit about Adam Pearce kasi. But syempre, he's just being told what to do there.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about everybody getting their moment in the sun here? Now, it's a fatal four-way because a lot of us were calling, it's Randy versus Roman one-on-one at the Royal Rumble. And then as I saw this happen, sabi ko, oh, wow, this is the first multi-man match for Roman in nearly 3 years. Yung last niya was WrestleMania 37 against two guys who are no longer in the company.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm definitely okay with the fatal four-way kasi yun na nga like the last Roman title defense was like I remember being pissed about that. Oh, it was the LA Knight match, diba? Like I remember being so pissed because it's the same old thing every match. Like Roman dominates, babyface makes a comeback, then the bloodline interferes, spear, 1, 2, 3, go. But with this fatal four-way, it leaves room for something different with this time. Now it's Roman is coming into the match. He doesn't even have championship advantage. Like he doesn't have to be pinned in order for him to lose the title. So there's something different. There's something I think captivating for me with just the concept of it being a multi-man match rather than just a normal one-on-one match where we know what's gonna happen like 95% of the time.
Yeah, I think this is like the first match na everyone was happy about the bloodline interfering kasi it means you get the four-way. So that's what some people were asking for, diba? Parang yun yung very clear logical progression of the whole thing, of the whole story. So I'm all for it. It's good that they acknowledge the fact that there has to be a change to Roman Reigns' formula. Clearly he's gonna walk out with defense of him. So I guess it's an easier way to go about that. I don't know. Because you got three other guys beating each other up and then beating him up, and then you can just pick off the scraps. Diba? So yeah, Emil was saying before, and this is nice because you don't adhere to the formula, but I hope that you're all prepared to see Roman win again.
But yeah, definitely. Like heading into the Rumble, naman, everyone knows now he's not gonna lose the title, but we just want to see something different with his title defenses. Like we were getting tired of the formula that he had throughout the 2023, diba? So this just gives them something new to work with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's going to be one of the huge draws for the Royal Rumble, other than the two Royal Rumble matches and the fact that people could be expecting Sasha Banks or whoever. All right, more stuff that happened on SmackDown. We have another heel faction when AOP finally made their returns to SmackDown. So if you read the mga sabi-sabi online, you'll know that AOP has been back with WWE for quite a while now. So they've just been on the bench, and they've been broken out. They even brought Paul Ellering back. Yeah. So yung tropa nila is the Authors of Pain, Paul Ellering, Karrion Kross, and Scarlett. So what do you think about this new Doomsday-like faction?
No, I just again, this is pure coincidental. No one intended for this to happen, but it's just amazing to me that the same week that we had the Undisputed Kingdom be formed, and now there's a faction with kind of the similar dark and brooding faction that they introduced here with Karrion Kross and AOP. But again, this is I welcome this. This is a very welcome development. Like they have tried things on Karrion Kross that di talaga nag-click. So maybe a faction, surround him with guys as his heaters. Maybe that's the way to go, And AOP, in their time in WWE, I thought AOP was not appreciated, but I thought they were really fine. They were good for their roles as the big tag team there. So I'm glad that AOP is back. They have a purpose then kasi in the tag division. And maybe this is the break that Karrion Kross needs, diba?
I don't know. Ang hirap kasi I was writing about this kanina lang. It's hard because I realized that the Authors of Pain hadn't been on WWE TV since before the pandemic struck. So it's entirely possible that a lot of this current crowd doesn't know who they are. Legit. It didn't help that the quiet Vancouver crowd last Friday, they didn't react much to AOP. I love AOP. I thought they were going to be a big deal because they're huge and dominant, diba? I am not quite sure yet how this all comes together. Yes, they made a splash, pero hindi ko pa rin alam kung ano yung kwento nila, diba? Right now, it's still some of those ominous, vague, cryptic, pa-edgy linyang binibitawan nila Karrion Kross. But I want to see how it all comes together, what their mission vision is, if you will, before I make a judgment. It's nice to see them beating up people, but a lot of the other heel factions that they have right now is just them beating up people because they're using the numbers game. But this is a numbers game and big dudes, diba? So the jury is out for me. I don't know how they're going to tell the story or what story they're going to tell with this.
Ito pa, they're going up against a faction that was originally written to be heel, but I guess they're just so over, or Lashley is such a popular guy in 2024 that you can't book him as a heel. And this blows my mind because in the past, it's been easy to root against Bobby Lashley, but something happened over the last 3 or 4 years. Now, no matter what this guy does, no matter what they have him do on TV, Bobby Lashley comes out, everyone goes, yay.
It's the Hurt Business. That was a turning point in Bobby Lashley's career. Now people finally respected Bobby Lashley. And again, no matter what he do, like he had a feud with Brock Lesnar, and he came away as the guy that people were cheering. So at this point, he is at the point of his career now. People just people will just give him his flowers and just cheer him over anyone opposes him.
I think they figured out nung Hurt Business tsaka nung championship run nila that he's really likable. I think a lot of people were looking for a reason to like Bobby Lashley other than he's big. He's a freak athlete, a genetic freak, if you will. And they realized that, okay, we've been wanting to see this guy succeed for almost 20 years now. 20 years. And they found a way to put it together. And then they took him away from that spotlight. And then he hasn't recovered really since. So it's good, that he found yung late career renaissance niya, the late career emergence of why he's so likable. It's funny. It's a funny accident. They wanted him to be mean and evil, but then they realized that people love Bobby Lashley. So
and people also love the Street Profits.
Yeah, the Profits. Yeah. Like I can't see the Profits as heels because they're just so likable.
It's a nice problem to have, I think. Yeah. But you're so all of you are so over.
All right, so from a couple of factions to one in the women's division, na clearly tinetelegraph na nila where it's gonna go. And I want to talk about this kasi the more I watch Bayley become awkward around Damage CTRL, the harder it is to watch. Alam mo, parang you're cringe watching at something. Like you want to look away, but you also want to see what's gonna happen. So that's what I feel every time Bayley's in a backstage segment or cutting a promo on behalf of Damage CTRL. Every time she says, my plan, diba? Napaka-cringe, napaka-awkward lang talaga. My plan's coming together. And then she's trying to build up every member of Damage CTRL. And I'm not saying this to disparage Bayley or to make her look stupid or whatever. It's just that hindi ko alam kung deliberate siya. Yung parang they make it so cringeworthy that when Damage CTRL turns on Bayley, maawa ka na lang. Kasi parang kawawa na nga yung tao, sinipa nyo pa, diba? Kick out nyo pa from the faction.
That sounds familiar. That's actually the problem I'm thinking of right now. When Damage CTRL kicks Bayley out, not necessarily turns on Bayley. Sino yung face, diba? Bayley is annoying. Yes, but does being kicked out of Damage CTRL automatically mean good girl na siya? I mean, like, if you're annoying and the group kicks you out, who's the asshole here? Really? Is it the annoying person who was looking for a tribe, who was looking to fit in, diba? Or is it the group that couldn't stand her antics? So she's not blameless here. She's not faultless here, diba? If you observe the character, she is trying to take credit for the others na magaling din. So I'm not quite sure how they're gonna pull it off. Na someone is the face. I feel like the Damage Control are the faces kasi they are on the receiving end ng antics si Bayley.
But how can you be the baby faces when there are 4 of you?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
This one person.
I haven't seen an example like that ever in wrestling.
Oh, nagrupo sila.
Yeah.
Out siya pa yung heel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very weird spot where Bayley is. Ikaw, Emil, any thoughts on this, or do you want to move to picks?
I think it's quite deliberate din eh. Kasi again, they're planting the seeds on the eventual kicking out.
But she's not likable either.
Yeah. Like they're planting the seeds for people to gain sympathy, even though like I don't see it that way. But I think that's where they're heading. Kasi again, it's the logic says na if they kick Bayley out, Bayley's gonna be the baby face. Like whether or not they actually are successful in gaining some sympathy for the Bayley character remains to be seen. Diba?
All right, so we kind of went long there with the weekend reactions, so we're gonna have to cut this episode right here. But don't worry, kasi bukas i-release din namin yung picks of the week. So if you want to know what our favorite wrestling matches of the week were, then go refresh this feed tomorrow. All right. In the meantime, on behalf of Romoran and Emil Nate, my name is Stan C, saying thank you for catching the Wrestling Podcast. Stay safe, stay healthy, and don't be a dick. Later, weirdos.
Peace.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.